We've done a little bit in this course with ifs. We use the count if. Like we did something like count how many ones there are. So we would count the column M if the value equaled 1. We're going to use if statements again. I want for this duration to say whether it's long or short. We'll say it's short. We'll say it's long if it's more than 30 days. So like this one would be short. This one would be long because it's 61 days. This one would be short. And so that's what I want in this column. I want to say if my definition for what long is going to be is greater than 30 days. And otherwise, I want it to be short. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an if statement equals if, and we see it checks whether a condition is met. So if, let's give the logical test. And the test that I want to know is this value greater than 30? That's my logical test. Now, enter the value here. If this is all that I do, by the way, oops, if this is all that I do, that won't let me just do that. Fine. We need to enter the value that we want the cell to take on if that is true. And if that's true, I want it to say the word long. So I'm going to say quotes long. It's a long stay. Then you put a comma, enter the value if this is false. So if it's not true that the stay is longer than 30 days, I'm going to say it's a short stay. They found a typo. Where's my typo? Oh, I have 2 parentheses. Yes, please correct it. Okay, so now this one is short. This one's long, like what we wanted, then short. And so it will go through. And for all of them, we can say whether the stay is long or short using that conditional if statement. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little bit more. I don't want to just have 2 categories. The if statement is set up for 2 categories nicely because it's you put the test and then you say what value do you want if that test is true and what value do you want if it's false. But what if I have 3 categories? Like what if I want 3 cases? So if the value was 0 to 31, I want it to be, say, 1 month. And if the value was 32 to 62, I want it to say 2 months. And otherwise, I could say more than 2 months. So greater than 62 would be more than 2 months. I want to do that sort of thing. Okay, well, let's come back over here. I'm going to do this in version 2 of the duration. So I'll get started. So if the length of the stay is less than or equal to 31, less than or equal to 31, I could just put less than 32, but I think I'll put less than or equal to 31. I want to say 1 month. Otherwise, I'm just going to say to be determined. That's what's going to happen. And so, whoops, I didn't grab the little corner. This is what we get. Okay, now I want to put in, the difference is I have 2 more categories. So what I can do is I can nest these if statements. So if S2 is less than or equal to 31, do this. Otherwise, I'm going to put another if statement in here. In an if statement, I like to get myself set up. So the if statement is going to have a condition, then what happens if it's true, then what happens if it's false. All right, let me go ahead and fill in all these things. So what's the condition? We know what is going to happen if the value is less than or equal to 31. If that's not true, I want to say, well, what if the value is less than or equal to 62? I don't have to worry about this 32 because I already know if we're getting to the second case that that is not true, that it's already greater than 31. So I could say if, I'm going to click on that, that value is less than or equal to 62, that's my second case. What I want is for it to say 2 months. Otherwise, I'm going to have it say more than 2 months. Let's see. So this is 2 months. 2 months. Where do we get a more than 2 months? Ooh, right here, more than 2 months, more than 2 months. So we can see this is working nicely. Now, theoretically, you could nest these and get 100 conditions, though you're going to find a better way to do that if that is what you needed. But that is how you deal with conditionals, if statements, and nesting them.